There is lots of room to roam, like the cowboys do. There are mountains you feel the need to touch the sky. Make sure it's still blue.
The Smith Lake Legacy Campaign is the first critical step of a larger landscape conservation initiative to protect the headwaters of Whitefish Lake. With real estate prices ever increasing, this is our last best chance to protect Smith Lake. The state of Montana could sell these valuable lands on the open market, and the public would lose access forever.
We moved to Whitefish right out of college in the late 80s, and we were kind of traveling the West looking at different areas, and we kind of fell in love with Whitefish because of the landscape, really. The open lands, the clean water, the fresh air.
Over the course of the past few years, things have drastically changed in our local community. And because of that, we're losing large chunks of open land to development.
The Whitefish area really is growing. I mean, the entire Flathead Valley is one of the fastest growing areas in the state of Montana right now. And with that comes a lot of growing pains, a lot of access problems. And what we're trying to do is keep what we have here today, what we like, what drew us to this area, available for the future.
As a mayor, the biggest challenge is the tourism and increase in population is brought to Whitefish and city government is the impact it has on our infrastructure, roads, streets, sewer, and water, and of course our recreational infrastructure.
This is truly a unique project for Whitefish Legacy Partners in that people think that we are just a trail group, and this is much more than trails. It's a beautiful day use area with access to the lake for picnicking, for grandparents like me and ultra-marathoners and bikers to come from miles around and have a stop.
Oh my gosh, this is probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen. People want to come here, you have to understand that. They want to come here and they want to live here, but they also want to experience nature. And I think that balance of keeping natural areas natural where we can and preserving and conserving the nature that brought us here is critical, because if we don't do that, we turn into just another place that was beautiful. People came because it was beautiful, and then we had so much development that you couldn't see the nature.
This is all the headwaters, supplying a lot of water to Whitefish, and being able to protect these areas so they're not built upon, so that they can feed the rest of the area is very, very important. The trail system we have in place is really protecting a lot more than we realize. It's protecting our natural resources, and our natural resources such as our water and our wildlife. And so by having this buffer throughout, it helps us in the future so that we know that we can still get out here and enjoy it and recreate in it.
Just because these are public lands held in trust for the people to benefit schools doesn't mean they're free from development pressures. I mean, you look at Costco and Lowe's and Kalispell, and that's school trust land as well, and they're just maximizing revenue from that in a different way.
When we have it here and there is a choice for the state to make, we want to help them make the right choice.
We accomplished a lot by preserving Haskell Basin, but we can't forget the fact that we derive between 10 and 20% of our municipal water supply from Whitefish Lake on an annual basis. And the aquifer at the north end of the lake is critical to protect in order to maintain high water quality for the receiving basin, in which case, Whitefish Lake, of course. People value open space, access to public lands, access to clean water and clean air. And this project is directly aligned with those values that our community shares.
The gift of more people coming is there's more opportunity to ask people to protect what they came to see. My commitment to the Legacy Partners years ago was that very thing, we wanted to save the viewshed and the watershed. Somebody on the committee said, well, why don't you put a trail in? I said, oh my gosh, let's not mess with trails. They're not that big a thing. Oh, was I wrong? What a great thing they've turned out to be.
It's the win-win-win-win. It's a win for water and wildlife. It's a win for the trust beneficiaries, which are the schools. It's a win for people who use trails, and it's a win for the community. We're on track to do that again, and when we roll out that solution, people step up. That's how it'll work.
And in order to secure permanent conservation, we as a community have to step up.
This has been described as the last best place in the last best place. Preserving this is critical for our children and for our grandchildren to be able to enjoy nature in this state going forward.
The money that we would use to purchase the development rights at Smith Lake would go into that public permanent education endowment and provide funds in perpetuity for Montana State University and Montana School for the Deaf and Blind. So it's kind of a win-win. We're paying them to remove the development rights from the area. The public schools of Montana receive that money over the years, and we maintain public access at an important community resource forever.
We certainly have all the pieces in place. We certainly ask for your help at this time. Anything you can do, small amounts and large amounts. And, keep in mind that your donation, your support is going to help us, save this, this property for generations and your kids and their grandkids. And it's hard to even explain how important this is going to be 20 years from now, 100 years from now. People just keep coming, the recreation use, the pressure from development, and it just keeps growing. So please help if you can. Thanks.
Montana time moves slow and sweet, like a mountain stream. Quenches that thirst that's way down deep. One drink, you'll know just what I mean.